It's a $1.3 trillion problem that no one seems to know how to fix. It's the alternative minimum tax. The AMT was originally enacted in 1969 to stop 155 wealthy Americans from using loopholes to evade taxes altogether, but it was never indexed for inflation. That means this year, unless Congress acts, an additional 23 million Americans will pay higher taxes thanks to the AMT, including 1 out of 11 taxpayers who make as little as $50,000 a year. There are a variety of ideas on how to fix the AMT, but all of them are expensive, and neither party has been willing so far to do anything other than pass a series of one-year patches. That may be changing, though. Top Democrats in Congress say by the end of the year, they will propose a permanent fix as part of a massive overhaul of the U.S. tax code. We're joined now from Capitol Hill by two of the more outspoken lawmakers on this issue. Democratic Congressman Richard Neal of Massachusetts. He chairs the Ways and Means Subcommittee on Select Revenue Measures. He's been working on a permanent AMT fix. And Republican Congressman Thomas Reynolds, a member of that subcommittee as well, he's introduced another one-year AMT patch. Thanks to both of you for joining us here on Money in Politics. Congressman Neal, is it indeed your goal to eliminate the AMT for all Americans? And if so, how do you do it?
It continues to be our goal. We met as recently as last Thursday afternoon with the Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, and I know that he offered a pronouncement today indicating that it's still the goal of the legislative majority here to proceed with a fix on alternative minimum tax.
And, sir, how would you do it? Would you have to phase out the Bush tax cuts to pay for that? We're talking...
No, we don't propose phasing out the Bush tax cuts at this time. What we simply suggest is that we grandfather those who, as joint filers, pay $250,000 a year. We would graduate it from $250 to $499, and we would continue with the idea that we've had in the past of offering a 4.3% increase on incomes over $500,000. That would relieve, incidentally, those 23 million people that you referenced earlier. And as other components of our tax package, we would offer a tax cut to 91 million Americans.
Congressman Reynolds, does that sound like a tax package you and other Republicans can support?
Well, here's the problem. It's always the devil in the details. And you ask a question, would all Americans be eliminated from AMT? And we just heard from Chairman Neal that no. You got to make less than $250,000 not to pay any AMT, and you're going to pay AMT taxes $250 and above. I think that most Republicans want to see repeal of the AMT, not reform the tax of AMT.
And my understanding, Congressman Reynolds, is that even this year you're proposing, again, simply a one-year patch. Are Republicans ready to step up and offer a full repeal?
Well, Peter, the reason that I put the one-year patch in, I want to see repeal of AMT. Chairman Neal is working on a plan. We'll see what the devil in the details is as that is coming forward. But in reality, this is now the latest that we have ever fixed AMT, at least for 1 year. Last year, my legislation was passed in May. We had 414 yes votes. 360 of those people are still in Congress. So I'd like to make sure that the 07 taxpayer knows clearly they will not pay a new tax of AMT to 24 million new people that could get caught in this stealth tax. And if we don't do something soon, we will not be able to have the things printed so that tax preparers have the information on how to make sure that AMT is not caught up in 24 million new taxpayers.
Chairman Neal, is the clock already ticking with regard to people in this tax year?
I would remind you that the clock has been ticking for the last 6 years while Republicans were the majority in Congress and had a president of their own party. There are 88,000 people in Mr. Reynolds' district, and I want to assure him right now that I'm working diligently to give them tax relief.
And Chairman Neal, let me follow up, because we've heard from Chairman Rangel, the chairman of the full committee, about this. Is there truly unanimity among even the Democratic leadership in the House as to how to proceed on this?
I have met personally with about 160 members of the Democratic caucus, the right, the left, the center, you name it. They've all been part of these small gatherings in the majority leader's office. We have not had one dissenting voice amongst those meetings. And in addition, I would say that the proposal that we'll have in the end is so extensive, as I indicated a moment ago, 91 million people would see tax relief under our proposal.
Congressman Reynolds, aren't Republicans going to have to concede that to repeal the AMT permanently, you're going to have to raise revenue in some other places? Taxes are going to have to go up for someone?
Look, we cut taxes on AMT, and the president vetoed it years back. We believe you can cut the AMT tax. It's the Democrats that want to have a pay-go to find a way to pay for it. I just plain want to repeal AMT. I have the hard luck stories from the people in my district who got caught in AMT taxes. It's not a new problem. It's been around since it was created by the Democratic majority in 1969.
And let me follow up and ask you about the...
Might I respond to that quickly?
Sure, go ahead, please, Chair.
I went back and had my staff check the vote in 1969. The vote was 389-2 with about 50 members absent at the time. This was a bipartisan problem, and it had a bipartisan solution at the time. To suggest that one party or the other is responsible for AMT is not only ill-considered, it's not going to make it any easier to fix this down the road.
It was a Democratic majority that made the decision that would be the tax policy, and they garnered the votes in bipartisan fashion as you've outlined. It was a Democratic plan that was put forth at the time.
All right, listen, we're going to have to leave the discussion there. Clearly an issue that's not going away anytime soon. Congressman Reynolds, Congressman Neal, thanks to both of you for joining us here on Money and Politics. We will, of course, be looking forward to those proposals coming from Congress. Next year on Money and Politics, the president wants more power to wiretap terrorist suspects without a court order. Will he get it? We'll go live to the White House for that. Stay with us.